and welcome to our first episode of Boombox. Today's topic is all about the New York state of mind. We went down the streets of New York to interview some New Yorkers to find out what the New York state of mind is like. We interviewed some pedestrians and also some vendors for you. So let's go straight into it. The first question was, how would you define the New York state of mind?
Hustle. Everybody's trying to get somewhere, and aren't willing to kind of roll up their sleeves and do what it takes to get there.
Oh gosh, hectic, chaotic, all over the place, at least I am. It's a very stimulating city, and you've got a lot going on here.
It's really different when you visit the city that you are living in there. I think that New York is really, really good to visit, but for living it's like a chaos. And there's a lot of people from all the parts of the world, because it was like a dream that I can get everything what I wanted, but now for me, I really like it, but when I spend so much time in the city, it's really stressful because it's like I feel that I have to consume.
I would say the New York state of mind is global, but very into ourselves, very much kind of where we're from. New York state of mind is basically neighborhoods, and so people from different neighborhoods and different areas of New York kind of have their own culture and their own identity, and so it's very segmented.
All right, next question. When you have to describe a typical New Yorker, what would he or she be like?
Determined, high energy, I think like resourceful, open to meeting anyone and everyone to kind of achieve their goals, I guess.
Open to a lot, not surprised too much, because they probably have seen everything. Always in a rush.
Yeah. Everyone is telling me that. Everyone. Okay, so
it's the fastest city in the world.
I just asked a lady if she has a minute for me, and she was like, no, I don't. So typically a New Yorker, huh?
Stressful? You're probably getting that as well.
Yeah.
But also I feel very informed because so much is going on, and we have so many resources. There's no reason. I mean, you're just around so many people who are on top of everything that you want to be too. So very informed, and I think cultured for sure. We have so much culture here. So I think we have a very unique way of thinking because there's so much going on, so many unique things, whether in the arts, any industry. We're just exposed to so much. So I think we think outside the box a bit more than people from other areas.
And again, yeah, I always ask if they have a minute, and they're all like, no, they don't.
I would say a typical New Yorker would be someone who is kind and willing to help. However, that's not how we come across. We come across as in a rush and very matter of fact. So, but that's just kind of how we operate. But that does not mean that we are not nice people.
Have you been to Europe yet? If yes, what do you think is the biggest difference concerning the mindsets?
Yeah, I'm from Europe.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
I've been living in New York for the last 6 years. I would say it's a lot less pretentious here, I feel like. People, I don't know, in parts of Europe and larger cities, like sometimes people are very concerned about what you're wearing and like the history of kind of like your family and how long you've been there, and it's like, generations of traditions and things like that. Here people are used to just people coming in and out, and so it becomes like a very non-pretentious, and people don't care. Like there is no normal here. You can dress as wild as you want, you can do whatever you want, and no one's gonna look at you and be like, oh, what are you wearing? Like, it just in Europe, I feel more judged, I guess.
Europeans are more deep in the culture, so they're more rooted, more subtle, and the radiant personality of the European is not too much found here. I'm not trying to put the New Yorkers or the Americans down, but culture has deep effect.
Yeah, I think people are much more, I think they're focused more on family, going a little bit slower. History is maybe a bit more important over there, being that, you've had cities that have been around for much longer than, the United States is very new compared to Europe. So you have this historical mindset and respect for history, I think, to a greater degree than here.
You have more rules, maybe. In my country, you have more freedom, but here you can feel more safe. Here, there are all kind of people, all kind of clothes, and people from a lot of nationalities. And maybe in Europe, people classify more the others from their roots or the clothes or the appearance that they have.
I think, having experienced Europe, they tend to be more unified, whereas New Yorkers are very individual. Kind of coming from New York and being raised in New York, I know people always used to tell me, God bless the child who's got his own. So that's kind of the mindset that we have, whereas in countries in Europe, it's easy to get through countries and to other countries in Europe, so people tend to know and have experienced more countries, whereas in New York, it takes forever to get to the next state. So we're, like, again, we tend to be a little bit more closed.
Okay.
All right, that was our interview about New York and the New York state of mind. We hope you enjoyed your very first episode of Boombox, and thanks for listening, peeps. See you next time.